quickly move on. We have the key action at the moment surrounding the debt ceiling in the United States. And 2 weeks from now, the US government could default if the White House and the Congress do not strike a deal. Joe Biden has been negotiating with top lawmakers for weeks, but the deadline is fast approaching. The US president is set to meet the Republican House Speaker, Kevin McCarthy. Stock markets and the financial world at large are hoping a deal could be reached in time to avoid, of course, any global financial repercussions. Let's listen in to the experts on what they believe of the situation.
I think we could still have a hard landing, because if they don't reach an agreement, then they'll face a choice, right? And the choice is to either default, which would be very, I think I totally agree with the Secretary of the Treasury and many others, that would be catastrophic and extremely contractionary. It could be catastrophic, could be very serious financial instability that results. Or they would have to sort of keep the level of debt constant, pay the interest out of their revenue, and just compress non-interest spending. And that's how you could get a hard landing as well. So I think, it is coming down to the wire. The Treasury Secretary has repeatedly said that the so-called X date, when they can't, when they have sort of run out of room to do all the kind of measures, extraordinary measures as they call them, that they're doing now, will occur on the 1st of June.
The party that is concerned about overspending is the Republican Party. And when you have a Democrat president, he, so far it's only been a he, doesn't much care about exceeding any kind of spending limits. So it's a very peculiar problem that arises when you have a Republican leadership in the Congress, starting with Newt Gingrich and all the way through to now, and a Democrat president. So it was Clinton, it was Obama, it's Biden. So that is really the politics of it. And you'd think, it's high time that they understood in America that their national debt now is something like 125% of GDP.
All right, then in a slew of Federal Reserve officials are igniting double over further rate hikes. It's start with the Chicago Fed president. No decision for June rate meeting, a mistake to commit the rate with incoming data. And he feels that we need to look at the data besides jobs, wages and inflation. Also commenting was the last Fed president, who said that we need to offset the bank stress effects on policy and that the policies need to mitigate stability risks. He also said that the gradual policy adjustments can be helpful. While the New York Fed president said that the economy is facing unacceptably high inflation, the economy is starting to get back to more normal patterns sometime before the Fed action to impact the economy. Low inflation is critically important. And moving on to the Fed vice chair, who feels that the community banks are sound and resilient. Debt ceiling impasse poses heightened interest rate risks. So that's the word coming in from the Fed presidents. We also have the Cleveland Fed president, who said that they are committed to returning inflation to 2% goal. Current trends point to slow long-run growth. They also need to stick with curbing inflation, and that's the word coming in from Cleveland Fed president. Now, Richmond Fed president also had something to say. He said that demand is cooling but not yet cold, and they are willing to raise rates again if necessary, and they want inflation put to bed finally and very firmly. So that's the word coming in from all the Fed presidents. They firmly believe that the inflation is something that they really need to put to bed.
Right, Ankita, those couple of points really driving global markets at the moment. We're seeing a lot of pressure with regard to the debt ceiling as well as inflation, and that's really what is keeping things in the news. But we'll quickly move on. Elon Musk warned that the economy is in for a challenging year ahead and said the Federal Reserve will be too slow to lower interest rates as economic conditions worsen. He was asked about how the Fed's policy will make it through the year for Tesla. Now, Musk responded that it will be a tough year for everyone, not just Tesla, and attributed it to the Fed's recent rate hikes to tamp down stubbornly high inflation.
And value of retail purchases in the US was up 0.4% in April, showing signs of resilience in the consumer spending, even concerns continue to rise around economic growth. The 0.4% comes after the upward revised 0.7% decrease in March. 7 out of 13 retail categories rose last month, including advances at the auto dealers, general merchandise outlets, and online merchants. The growth in April sales suggests low unemployment and steady wage growth are supporting demand for the merchandises.
Well, we did speak about Home Depot. It's in the news because it reported its biggest revenue miss in more than 20 years. First quarter revenue slumped 4.2% to $37 billion, about $1 billion short of what analysts forecasted. Now, comparable store sales dipped 4.5% and US comparable store sales slid 4.6%. Its last quarter miss of this magnitude was in November of 2002. The company also lowered its forecast for this year as consumers delay large projects and buy fewer big-ticket items.
And tracking some more important commentary from the OpenAI chief Sam Altman, who has called upon US lawmakers to regulate the artificial intelligence space. While testifying before the US Senate, he spoke about the possibilities and the pitfalls of the new technology. He also spoke of the impact that AI could have on the economy, including the likelihood that it could replace some jobs, leading to layoffs in certain fields.
Well, and we have Vodafone Group PLC's new chief, who's planning to turn around the telecom carrier. And to do that, she has announced the company's biggest ever job cuts. And she's warned that this measure will not be a quick fix. The CEO has forecasted flat profit and a roughly 30% decline in free cash flow for the fiscal year.
And Quest Global Services co-founder and Chiral Group are in talks to buy separate minority stakes in the engineering services firm worth a combined $640 million. And the US investment firm and Quest chief executive officer Ajit Prabhu are lining up financing for a deal that would value the Singapore-based company at about $1.8 billion, according to a report.
Well, and according to sources, Amazon India is giving pink slips to staff in departments like AWS, tech, and data management. The company is set to fire 500 employees in the latest round of layoffs. This fresh round of downsizing is part of the broader layoffs announced by CEO Andy Jassy in March, affecting approximately 9,000 employees. In a note to staff, Amazon posted online, Jassy, while announcing the 9,000 job cuts, had said the decision stemmed from ongoing analysis of priorities and uncertainty about the economy.
And WhatsApp has introduced a new feature called Chat Lock that will allow users to lock specific chats using a password. And the feature will enhance users' privacy as it will allow them to make the most intimate conversations even more private. Raksha is here with more details on that.
This is a new privacy feature joining an array of already released privacy features by WhatsApp because they want to ensure that they give you end-to-end encryption on text and especially give you an added feature just in case you want to keep some intimate conversations really private. So how this chat lock feature works is you go to any chat, whether it's one-to-one or a group chat, and you choose that all these chats will go to a separate folder now, which only you can access using your biometrics, which is a face ID or a fingerprint scanner or a numerical digital code. Now, how this helps you is that whether if you do not want a sender's name or the content of a message to come up and appear on a screen or on your screen or on your WhatsApp, just in case your phone is being used by multiple people, then you can now enable this feature. Now, this is extremely important, especially for our viewers right now, because WhatsApp, India forms the largest user base. Up to 400 million active monthly users come from the Indian market.